Hey, Nelson, alcoholic addict, not my real name. That is my pen name that I use here for my newsletter. I just started watching Andor, which I think is like the 347th different Star Wars spin-off show. I'm just kidding. It's not 347. It's more like there's been like 10 Star Wars spin-offs. Have not liked most of them, to be honest. But to give a quick mini review, I can already tell that Andor is going to be one of the very best ones. It's really off to a great start. I love The Mandalorian too, so I think like Andor and The Mandalorian will probably be my two favorites. To steal a Star Wars phrase, Andor is light years ahead of some of the other recent ones, so highly recommend. I wanted to talk today, though, about a fascinating conversation in the pilot episode, and it was between the lead character of the show, Cassian Andor, and he has a robot named Bee, like the spelling bee or a bumblebee. So Bee has a running gag that he has issues with his power source. So he sputters around and he talks routinely about how his battery's running low. And there is a moment when Cassian goes to B and says, I need you to lie for me, and I need you to say that I was at home the night before. I need an alibi. And B's response was, okay, but if I lie, it's going to burn up a lot more energy from my power source than if I told the truth. Whoa. That line hit me pretty hard. It's coming from an android, but because when I was active in drugs and alcohol, I lied all the time to keep my bullshit going. My life was a total sham. And I think most alcoholics and addicts probably have a similar, they had a similar house of cards that they were trying to keep upright. So I don't think that's unique to me. It seems pretty normal. I do. I think all of that lying drained me of my energy every single day. And I mean that literally and figuratively. It is literally tiring to have to lie all the time. It's exhausting to keep a complete sham going. But then figuratively, it sucks all the spirituality out of you. And, I don't know if this is actually possible, but I felt like my soul was exhausted in addition to just my body because of all the lying. And even when I would pull off the lies of another day, running and gunning, I'd lay my head down on the pillow at the end of the night and I would feel this pang deep down in my chest. It's an ugly feeling to know you just conned a bunch of people you care about. You lied all day, another day of lies, and that hurt. But fast forward to sobriety where I pretty much stopped lying. Does a lie fly out of my mouth sometimes? Yeah, but not often, and it's very rare that I'll double down on a lie. I'll catch myself saying something where that's not quite true, is it? But it's because I know for a fact I cannot be lying about much of anything and still be sober. I cannot do the two things. They don't exist in the same universe, sobriety and lying. If I start pulling con jobs again, it's only a matter of time until I have a drink or a drug or both, as I try to numb the pain and cover up how I'm feeling. I can't do it. What I'm most interested in as it relates to that Android quote is the ways that I lie to myself, and they seem harmless, but they're not sometimes. Sometimes I'll have a rough day and I'll think I should get to a meeting, but I'm so tired. Maybe I'll get to one tomorrow. And it's not lying. I might be tired. I might actually try to get to one the next day. I might get to it. But it's definitely not quite the truth. I'm sort of fibbing to myself. Or sometimes the more insidious example of this is sometimes I'll catch myself thinking that somebody is an asshole and I need to get even with them over they shouldn't have sent me that shitty email. Like, how dare they? And I'll have that sober voice in my head that speaks up and says, hey, before you do anything, maybe call a sober buddy and run this by them. But then the angry, resentful, fired up part of my brain pushes that aside and I make a decision. I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to stew on this. I'm going to drive around. I'm just going to think about that, nothing else, barely pay attention to driving. And I'll spend 4 hours obsessing over it, yelling at my kids once or twice during it. I'll ignore an important work assignment, and on and on and on. And I'm not lying to anyone else, but I'm lying to myself that this is like the right thing to do. Like, I just sit here and be mad, and it's just not worth it. To bring it back to that original quote, I still have moments when a thought or a behavior is bullshit and it drains me of energy, just like B, the android. I go to meetings, I try to do good behaviors so that I can fill up a spiritual gas tank. And that gas tank, the minute I stop doing the spiritual thing, it starts to drain a little bit as the hours go by. And when I start firing off lies and sugarcoating things and pretending I'm fine and bragging too much, all of these like little things that are kind of lies, I feel like B. My power source is losing juice twice as fast as if I had told the truth or did the right thing. So I guess I don't know what the lesson here is. Maybe watch Andor. It's good. It'll make you more sober. I don't know, something like that. Thanks for letting me share.